Hey folks, January 13th here. Welcome back to another web report here from Hudson's on the Spot Guide Service. Quickly, we'll get into our ice report, which some good news with that. We got ice up here, up into the islands a little bit, and from Houghton Point north, that's sticking around and actually building ice really nicely. So we'll start from Ashland like usual. Really good ice base there, 16 to 20 inches, all the way out to the lighthouse. People are driving trucks from there over to Bono Creek, and then it thins over by as you go to Washburn. There's 12 to 16 inches there. From the coal dock north to Houghton Point, coal dock over the Green Can Buoy, north of Houghton Point and Long Island, you're looking at anywhere from 8 to 12 inches in there. So it's still kind of snowmobile ATV in there. Conditions for truck travel in them areas and snowmobile and ATV is really good. Got a little snow base, but nothing too nothing too terrible to get an ATV stuck or anything like that. Got to watch out for some cracks that are around. Just use caution, check them cracks out. Some days they stick straight up in the air, the other days they'll move, invert and stuff, so you don't want to get caught in that. North of Houghton Point to Bodine's, got anywhere from 3 to 6 inches ice in there. Down from the Sioux to the Onion, that's a little bit thinner because that ice blew out, but it's working up a good base right now, about 3 inches ice. Get around Van Tassel's, up around Bayfield again, you're looking at 3 to 6 inches, and that goes all the way to Basswood Island, halfway up Madeline, back across to Hermit Island, and back around over to Oak and into Red Cliff. So people are walking out of Bayfield a little bit, starting to see some snowmobiles go out there, so just use caution. We got a good ice base. The fishing's really good, getting a lot of browns, a lot of splake, a lot of whitefish. You can see that on our actual written report too of what we've been catching. And in our photo page, you can see that we've been out almost every day being on fish, putting our clients on fish, and having a good time. Fishing's been excellent. So if you want to make a trip up to Chequamegon Bay, the Apostle Islands, this is the year to do it. We've been catching a lot of fish. Now, some days are slower than others, but that's fishing in the wintertime. But overall, it's been a really great year. Other than that, I want to touch on a couple other items real quick. Two kind of housekeeping deals that are going to be brought up here. First is parking. Now that we're kind of starting our lake trout season, parking is going to be a big issue this year. The new casino in Red Cliff's being built, and so that parking lot there has been taken out of the question. So it leaves Bayfield, and there's not a lot of parking around town until we get a good base out onto the ice road approach, which is going to be a while yet. So we got to be pretty cognizant of parking around town. Don't want to block driveways. You don't want to create havoc down by the ferry and the ice road approach. So use some common sense when you're coming into park in Bayfield. Obey the signs, and don't block driveways and stuff. We just need to keep everything under under control with that. I did hear that the casino may open up some parking in their lot and make a trail down to the lake, for people, and it'll be a paid parking deal, but it's better than nothing. Hopefully have a season pass there, and I'll stay on top of that and let you guys know more about that as time progresses. But right now, Bayfield is the place. So use some common sense when you're parking. Don't, if you can, try to leave some space for other cars, because there's other people that are using that stuff down there. Don't block people in, and don't block driveways. Other than that, another housekeeping deal. There's been catching a lot of that 15-inch range brown splake type stuff. I was talking to the wardens here. They're going to be out a lot checking people, and for the numbers of fish that we're catching, catching a lot of different types of fish. So just want to make sure people realize that be sure to measure your fish, measure them correctly, ID them correctly. You can stop in at River Rock, Outdoor Lure, Anglers All, get some good pamphlets to see what kind of fish you're catching, and make sure they're the right ones and the right sizes and all that kind of stuff, because they're going to be hitting that hard. And the wardens told me the fines start at about $250, and if you have a short fish, you will be fined. If you're over your bag limit, you're going to be fined. If you have the wrong species, you're going to be fined. So just pay attention. The fishing's good, but in the heat of the day, just take time, measure the fish correctly, Take in consideration that sometimes it's cold out. If you got a fish that's right at 15 inches, it's better to put it back than to say, well, now the fish shrunk because it froze or something like that. Give yourself some leeway. Just pay attention to that kind of stuff when you're out there this winter. So now let's get into some cool stuff. We're talking about, we got ice in the lake trout country, and this is the greatest time of the year for me. I love chasing lake trout through the ice, and I was out yesterday. Caught a few smaller ones, but it was finally great to get in deep water and put the hooks home to some fish. So I just want to go over some tackle recommendations for what we're using for lake trout here. Right now we're kind of in that water that's I like to fish at 130 and 150 foot of water right now, and I really like to use some lighter gear when I'm doing that. I like to use a medium heavy rod, but a little less stiff than what we're normally doing when we're in real deep water. This is an old Berkeley Lightning rod that no longer made, but you can find some good alternatives to this. It works really good in that range I was talking about, and especially when you're teaming up with one of my favorite lures, the FinTech Zonar jig. Cuts current really well. It's small, 3/4 ounce, or like 3/4 ounce Northland buckshot jigs are also really good in that shallower water. Really like them greens and whites and glows and stuff. And up to ounce and a half, 2 ounces spoons that work good. But you can downsize a little bit. The fight is a lot better. When you're fighting them on lighter tackle. Here I'm using 14-pound Fireline. I just terminate it with a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader with a cross lock snap, and then just a Mustad barrel swivel on the end. So great rod, great setup for using in shallow water. Again, that Zonar jig and that Northland buckshot, that Zonar, I like to use a 4-inch gulp minnow pearl on that, and then just tip it with a little piece of herring or smelt or even a lake shiner. So now as we're getting out a little bit deeper and we're getting into the trenches of over 150 feet of water, I get more beefier rod, like this Jason Mitchell heavy Mackinac casting rod, big Abu Garcia. I use 20 to 30 pound braid, and we're using lures up over ounce and a half, 2 ounces, and I think this year this will probably be my most favorite lake trout bait. It just has some awesome action that I seen yesterday. It's called a Sabile Vibrato. Kind of sits in the water like a regular minnow. You don't have to move it much to get much vibration, but like the name says, vibrato, and you can bait each of the hooks, and they take it pretty good. So check that Sabile out. These rods from Jason Mitchell you can find at River Rock or Outdoor Allure. They carry them both. Great rods. Got a big stiff butt section on the back end, so you can really set the hook home when that fish hits and keep them hooked up when you're battling them up to the hole in that deep water, 250, 200, 180 feet. So Sabile Vibrato, Jason Mitchell, Elite Series Mackinac 34-inch casting rod, great for lake trout. Some other lures that I like to use other than the locally made beetles. I mean, you'll see them. I like them, but I really like spoons. When I'm fishing, I really like crippled herrings, bigger. I mean, if Northland tackle made a buckshot that was 2 ounces, that's what my favorite bait would be using. I'd be using out here, but crippled herring spoons, rattlesnakey spoons. Gets like the buckshot's got a good rattle in it. In them days when they're really picking jigs, when they're just light biting jigs are really the ticket. And hair jigs like this, I think this is a Daiwa or Bomber, and I put my own stinger on the back of, I use a number 4 stinger, usually a Mustad triple grip. This is just a regular triple or a regular Mustad, but I run a 4-inch piece of gulp off there when they're really hitting. If they're just pecking, I just put a like a minnow head, like a smelt head, or just a little fillet of herring on there, and just move it just lightly, let that hair work in front of them, and usually they'll take it. So those are some of the good lures that you can find around here. Other types of spoons and other types of baits like the beetles I was talking about. So just a good selection of lake trout stuff. And if you have any questions or anything about that deal, just give me a call. The best way to do it is actually come out with a trip with us, and I can show you hands-on, really set you up. Come up for a day, make a weekend out of it. We'll take you out for a day, and then you can spend the rest of the weekend out fishing them. My weekends are really filling up, so you gotta give a call, ahead of time, and my weekdays are filling up too. So call, let us get you on the fish and help you out here, and so you can have an enjoyable trip here in the Apostle Islands and Chequamegon Bay area. Ashland and Bayfield, Washburn, they all got some great hotels to work with. The Hotel Chequamegon in Ashland, great place to stay. River Rock has a nice hotel there. Outdoor Lures got their lodging as well that fits up to like 12 people. Pretty cool deal. Bayfield here, the Bayfront Inn and the Seagull Bay Motel, along with the Bayfield Inn, all have great lodging. So we're starting on lake trout fishing. It's going to be excellent. I'm hoping for a great year. Caught some lake trout yesterday, and we've just been hammering on the browns and the splake. It's been awesome. So that would kind of end it. But before I go, I just want to mention a couple other things. Like I said before, we got our sleeper shack. We're going to start moving it north now that we got ice. I'll kind of keep it in trout area, stuff like that. And also, if you guys are interested in learning more about fishing, I got these ice roads schools that I do for ice fishing. And this weekend is my first one up on Leech Lake. Looks to be a great deal. Catch some big walleyes and some good perch up on Leech Lake. But I got another one coming up end of February in Lake Okoboji for big bluegills, and in March then we go to Lake Namakogon just down the road here for crappies. It's not just about the species of fish, but it's also about learning how to fish ice fish. From the beginner to the expert, we have stuff available to help everyone out and to learn more stuff about ice fishing. And that's what it's all about: teaching people how to stay on fish consistently, catch fish, about mobility, and about the new products that we're using, every day out here on the ice. Other than that, one other thing I want to mention, you can see the hat that I'm wearing, TNB, the next bite. We got a great program going on right now through Mustad. It's for just putting some pictures in. We're going to be picking out some winners for each month for some great prizes, and then in the end, we're going to pick an overall winner. And that overall winner is going to be able to have a day of fishing, or actually a weekend of fishing with Gary Parsons, Keith Cabayas, and Chase Parsons on the tournament trail. So check that out at thenextbite.com. We also got an ice fishing forum in there now, and it's a good way to learn some new stuff. And so post your pictures at the Mustad scrapbook forum, and then come into the ice fishing forum and add some tips and topics or questions, whatever you want. Everything is available to talk about. So come on in there and talk. So thenextbite.com, and check us out on Facebook as well. Just look us up, either me, Jim Hudson, or the Next Bite, and we'll hook up with you that way. So again, it's January 13th. Another web report, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.